Yo, 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 you already know what it is. It's your boy Kire Da Monster. We out here rocking with 4 artists by artists. Kire Da Monster. Kire Da Monster is a two-headed spirit possessed by both goodness and darkness all in one. Kire Da Monster is an artist, both a hand-drawn artistic artist and both a musician as well. I like to express myself all the time. I believe in positive energy and that it cannot be defeated. And I'm just, me, Kire Da Monster. I was a cartoonist since probably I could draw, like pick up a pencil. You can ask my mom's, there were books, little children's books that she would give me, and I was always drawing the inside cover and both the inside, front, and back covers. I was always like extending the story or something like that. Since then, I was always thinking of doing cartoons and stories and how far they could go on both ends of it. So yeah, definitely. Blacklight Moses showed up in the lane. Probably my teenage years, early teenage years. Again, I can reference my mom. My mom's favorite artists was like Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige and R. Kelly and all these really strong theatrical artists. And so hearing that music at a young age, all I wanted to do was just be that type of artist. I was like, yeah, I could see myself being that. Listening to my mom bump them in the car and me in the backseat and stuff. Yeah, music, probably around like 10 or 11, I really saw myself like, really could be like, I could be an artist. God, don't fuck with you, just cause I got one. Usually, I try to find inspirations from anything. Of course, definitely going from my life, but I may be exposed to something that I didn't even see coming. And I'm like, oh wow, this is like crazy. I could really see this in artistic form. Or I might be swiping somewhere on the internet and see something. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I gotta find a way to put my splash on this and make this something that I'm seeing right now. And so I'll just go in on it for hours until I turn it into exactly what I see in my head. Blacklight Moses, this one right here for anybody. I want people just to feel like they can just be themselves. The biggest thing that I've learned is that we hold ourselves to these impossible standards, and we think that I gotta be this, that to be verified and certified and clarified or whatever it is that they're looking for. And I'm like, no, you don't need all that. All you need is yourself. And your vision and your mind, and you can just go anywhere and you can do anything with your art or with the thing that you're trying to put forward. And art isn't just what you might think it is. Art is going on that basketball court. Art is being a chef. Art is taking care of children. Art is being a basketball coach. Whatever it is that you use, that you express yourself, that's what I want you to feel free and do it your way. Put your stamp on the world. I have an associate's degree in graphic design. And let me tell you about the college world and associate's degrees. Yeah, I got one, and I learned a lot there, and it was a beautiful time, and I met some cool people, but that pretty much just rounds that up as far as the degree world in America. Life and college and everything else is all about who you meet and who you know and how you put yourself out there in the world. And I definitely learned a lot from professors and things like that. But the biggest thing that I learned was just go put yourself out there in the world and make your connections and find a way to brand yourself. If that's what you are trying to do, you really just want to brand yourself, professionally. This right here is the story of one. Becoming Kire Da Monster. Kire Da Monster was probably born, like I said, when I was 10 or 11 years old, rapping in front of the mirror, pretending that I'm DMX or pretending that I'm Jay-Z or pretending that I'm Michael Jackson or whatever it is, just pretending that I'm just this mega super rap pop star. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna be a monster. I'm gonna be something that just can't be contained. I'm gonna just go outward in every direction and you're just gonna feel me. I'm gonna feel like a force of nature. And since then, I just zeroed in on that and always just wanted to move that way, like a force of nature. And with everything that I do, anything that I'm tied to, that my name is a part of, I always wanted it to feel like it was just a force of nature that could not be stopped. I would hope that kind of every artist maybe starts off solo whenever they decide that they have a love for music, is when you're an artist and when you're solo. Even when, you know, your career starts as soon as you feel like you can do it a little bit. As soon as you start singing in the shower, you're an artist. I don't care what you say, whether you record or not. Now I'm just playing. I guess for myself, the first time I ever recorded a song, other than just like BSing around on the phone or anything, was definitely in a group. I was definitely part of a group that will not be named. But the group definitely transformed and became the Hire, the duo that most people know me by. And all along the way, I made a lot of good friends musically when it became the Hire, and then that's really where I took off from there and really kind of found my own sound within the group. I mean, understanding like where I am and who I am as an artist and the experiences that I found. I was always recording by myself, always figuring out things on my own, always writing my own solo music. So when it became time to put that in the front, it really became like a new challenge and a new path for myself. I'm having a lot of fun becoming and understanding myself as a solo artist. It's lit. It made me a man. It made me who I am today. Being in the Hire, and even bigger than that, being a part of the underground and a part of the Charlotte hip hop movement. Just all of that rolled up into one. From the years I started doing music seriously in 2007, and we did this thing all the way up until now. And like, I haven't been in the Hire since 2017, so it's like that jump right there. Those first 10 years, and I'm moving forward into the future until now. It's like seeing the Charlotte hip hop scene evolve into what it is now. It's just really it's like seeing a child grow up. You're like, wow, look at what it is now. Look at the leaders in the game now. Look at the artists who've made it over into the industry, and you've seen their journey and where they were before and how they got now. It's inspiring. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see what Charlotte hip hop has. I can't wait to see what I'm gonna do next. I can't wait to see what some of my peers are gonna do next. It's a beautiful time to be a creative in Charlotte. The MFGD was the place to be. We used to do them on Wednesday nights, and then moved to Thursday nights. We started at the underground, the first underground, and then the second underground for MFGD. And it was just one of the biggest movements that I saw for underground artists and for artists who like needed a stage. We concentrated on artists who kind of were looking for their first or maybe second stage, or usually their first stage. I had so many artists that told me that like they never performed before, and this was the first place that they were gonna do this. And so I was like, okay, yeah, man, get on the stage, do your thing. MFGD was the formula where if you had a hot song, they would say MFGD. If you had a trash song or you performed bad, they would say GD. I mean, motherfucker, goddamn, or goddamn. And you know what I mean? And it was pretty lit. We did it for about a year and a half, 2 years, and we serviced over 400 artists. We met so many different people from all over the country, all over the East Coast, West Coast, down south, up, all over the place they were coming in. We had some really nice guests. I seen De Niro Ferrar come through one time, Elevator J come through. I loved it. I had so much fun. Nah, I mean, well, you know, it's with art. It's with your art and it's your passion. So, you know, people are always going to feel like they were hotter than where they may not have been. You know, it happens. Sometimes people may perform and they're a little too tipsy or a little too stoned. So, you know, but that was probably the only time. Artists usually took it with a head. Like one of my favorite artists, Kuji Caillou, he came out, again, told me that it was the first time he ever performed. And then he hit us with the performance that was really bad. Shout out to Kuji. I know you're gonna like the next part of the story. It was really bad. He got a GD. It was horrible. But you know, he came to us, he said, I'm gonna be back next week. And when he said that, I was like, he gonna be back next week. And he brought the fire. And he got straight MFGDs for at least like 10 weeks. He probably is the only one that went down on the MFGD Hall of Fame because he became a legend in MFGD. He always tore it down. I got some footage somewhere I'm gonna find and dig up of him just going in. It was beautiful. Pretty thing. You probably break a nigga hard, probably make him sing. The underground was just an amazing place. That's again where all the MFGDs were happening. The underground was just a beautiful, beautiful place with some great people. Again, MFGD couldn't have been what it was if it wasn't for Miss Bunny. She gave us a stage. She gave us a place where we could be. Because back then, we were trying to find a stage, and no one would give us a stage. And then one day, we ran into Alamuto. And he saw us. He was like, yo, man, I know who you guys are. And I know a place where you guys can perform. And he showed us the underground, where it was on Noda. We went back there in that giant warehouse. We saw it. The space was big. was like, yo man, let's do a show called For Locals Only. There, so many people came through. If I'm correct, I believe FAxA was a part of that show. Jamonte King House was part of that show, and Joe Sig was a part of that show, and so many others. It was so long ago, but I just remember that show being like the one, and it was like, oh man, this is it. Then that underground didn't operate too much longer, but we found a new space, and there, man, it was just lit. There were bonfires. We had our show MFGD on the basement on Thursdays, and there was dance shows. So much spirituality, so much good positive energy, and if there was any bad energy, we made sure it was removed. Not in a forceful way, but the bad energy just didn't feel comfortable. We made sure that you just didn't feel comfortable being there because it was too much high energy and you're just down, so get out. One day things will always go back to the way it was, and I just believe that it just comes full circle. Even if it isn't the direct people who once did that, I believe that someone will find that energy and it will resurrect and come through. And it's still coming through. It's still alive. I see it every day. Shady, I be like, girl, I don't care 'cause you my baby. The only known story of Blacklight Moses. Blacklight Moses started out as a little idea that I had. One day I needed a nickname. I needed a name to cover my weed smoking persona. So I reached in my pocket, I had a lighter. I was like, whatever color this lighter is, I'm gonna make a nickname after it. And it was black. I was like, cool, Blacklight Moses, let's go. I ran with that nickname for a little while, never really did anything with it. And then one day I made a song out of it, but it was right before the Black Lives Matter movement happened. But then boom, the Black Lives Matter movement happened before I could release the song or anything. So because of being so early, I really didn't kind of want Blacklight Moses, Black Lives Matter. I really didn't kind of want to take away from that thing right there, even though, everything was going on. I was like, let me wait a little while. Time passed, and I finally started feeling comfortable where I could do this. I had a really crazy dream one time about me being a spiritual cowboy that was going around using my spirit powers to free people and to get revenge for people who were killed for their color of their skin or anything, any unjust. I was always avenging it. And I was like, yo, when I woke up the next day, I was like, I think I found out what I want to make my album Blacklight Moses about. Then with me and my artistry and my cartooning, I decided, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and make a comic book out of this. Let me really tell this story. And I had the help with some really good artists with storyboarding and really good writers. And next thing you know, we got this thing together and made a cool little comic book and a cool album. And I'm gonna continue it on and make a series and even more Blacklight Moses albums. Creating a comic book is hard. I'm gonna say that much. Doing a comic book, there's like a bunch of people who handle each different phase. Like there might be at least like one person, or maybe even if it's 2 or 3 people, they might just be bouncing the process in between each other. But doing it solo is difficult. You gotta line these things up and keep your mind into it. But what I was motivated by was just wanting to make sure the story came from here onto the paper the right way. Writing it, making sure the writing was there, making sure it had that aesthetic, like the time was broken, you wasn't quite sure where you were, or what exact time period, and making sure that it felt like it was a dream, and making sure that the cowboy felt like he was relatable, but he also felt like that guy from that old time. So I just wanted to just feel odd and familiar at the same time, and I felt like the only way I could do that was making sure that I controlled it. It started out with an idea between me and my former business partner, and we were like, yo, let's come up with something cool, something odd. Again, I'm always making something that's ugly and just make you feel like, oh, what is this? I love that shock value of darkness. So I wanted to put my fingerprint over that and make sure that it was really just like a manticore. And when we got that together, we figured that out. We made some moves, had some cartoons made, had a lot of content, and really I just learned about cartooning. I'd spent so much time doing music that I really didn't know much about the cartoon field other than the fact that I wanted to do it. So learning about how to be a cartoonist and how to line things up and how to publishing and coloring, becoming a better artist. I got to work hand in hand with Josh Henderson. He really helped me out. I gotta thank him. He really showed me a lot of the things that I didn't know about color theory and shading and all that atmospheric art. Like he really helped me out with that. So I wouldn't be the artist I am today without the lessons that he showed me. Everything that Manticore taught me, like, just made me a better artist and made me a better businessman and just made me a better expressor. So yeah, it was fun. With Blacklight Moses, Mufti Wang was the one who did the storyboard art for that. And really he did an animatic that I was gonna release for the album. And so when he did the animatic, I just basically broke it apart and made the comic book from that. So I got to give him credit for that. That was fun collaborating with him. Oh, I got one that I'm working with my boy Jordan Wright. I can't wait. This is super early. So y'all, we on the hush with this. And Jordan, you know I got you on pressure for this one. But yeah, it's really fun, man. I'm really excited about working with more artists. There's a few artists that I got kind of on my target list of people who I just really want to reach out with. Musically, artists that I would love to work with one day. I've worked with artists before as the hire, so I'm gonna even exclude, even if I've done artists with you as the hire, I wanna say directly as Kire Da Monster. Okay, so I definitely wanna work with Jamonte. He's definitely always been one of my favorite artists, definitely just a killer. Of course, you know FAxA. I always wanted to work with FAxA, so that goes unsaid. I would love to work with Indigo Joe. He's really dope. I love the message that he puts in his music. I would love to work with Side Note. I think she is a really dope artist, really has a nice voice and really kills it every time she does anything. Like, she's just always knows how to put her spirit in it. I would love to work with Lute. Lute is fire. He has bars. He's killer. I just love his game. I'd love to work with the baby. The baby, you know, that goes unsaid. You know what I'm saying? And then like moving from like Charlotte artists, I love to work with some of my favorite artists that I'm always inspired by: Drake, Future, and Travis. What's up with the new music? Man, look. When it comes to music, I'm the type of person that I like to record songs or come up with song concepts or flesh things out, even with beats and whatnot, and I'll sit on the idea or sit on the recording or sit on it for a little while and wait. I have this one thing in the pocket that I've been kind of sprucing around. You guys might hear me post it here and there. Might see some little things in the corner of art or something that I say is King Lambino or something like that. That's an idea that I wrote or had fleshed out in 2014 that I've always wanted to put, and so I got a little batch of songs that I want to kind of give to you guys. Before I give it to you guys, I kind of want to spruce it up a little bit. I kind of want to do a little surprise to it. I want to take it up even more. So, because I don't want to give you guys just a batch of 2014 songs, 2015 songs. No, that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is give you guys the funk. So I'm definitely going to do that. I'm definitely going to give you guys the funk, the fire, all that good energy, and it's going to be nice. I'm going to give you a little update, a little splash. Energy does not die. Right? We all know that. It can only be transferred from one thing to another. And you know, another thing about energy, a law, it's kind of like an unspoken law. Positive energy cannot be defeated. It's something that I learned at a young age that I've been experimenting with my whole life. I learned it from my grandmother. I'm just watching her work and watching her hustle, and just some of the things that she told me is that you always want to smile. In the darkest of darkest times, you always want to find your way back to that smile. Woo! Being a father today, man, especially being a girl dad, it's something to think about. You know, like, it affects me because when I'm doing things musically, especially because my kids are getting older, like, I always think about things that I'm doing. I'm like, oh man, my kids can go on YouTube and listen to my music. And I gotta watch for that. And then more than that, when I was a kid, my mom, all she had to do was just tell me not to listen to some or keep the CDs away or selectively change songs, and I just wouldn't hear it. But growing up now and then having kids now, it's like you gotta try harder and you gotta do these things. You really want to have an open line of communication with your children, or at least that's what I try to do, because I want my kids to always at least be able to tell me what's going on in their head, or feel comfortable if they're curious about something, that is, at least talk to me, come to me and say, hey dad, I've been thinking about this. It's scary because having that, sometimes your kids can come and say some wild things to you, but I'd rather them say them to me and ask me, and so I can give them a real world or a really safe form of advice on things, you know what I mean? At least tell them, because I try to keep it real with my kids, and there's just so much coming from the world in every direction. And shout out to For Artists by Artists, first and foremost, for the opportunity, man. If you're not on this wave, you need to be on this wave. Things are just getting bigger for the city and for music and for everybody. If you're a collector or a creator, just link up. Shout out to everybody and anybody who is alive today, because that's just beautiful and that's a blessing. So take a moment to pray for that. Shout out to Kire Da Monster and all the cool stuff that he got coming out. I got a comic book that I'm dropping, whether or not y'all see this before or after 420. If it's after 420, go check a look at it. If it's before 420, then follow me anywhere at Kire Da Monster. I will be announcing the name of my new comic book company very soon. Be on the lookout for that. I'll be announcing the first comic book that we'll be running with. And also the rebranding of Blacklight Moses is coming up too. So man, look, man, stay linked up. I got music coming. I got things that I'm trying to do and way, way, way bigger than me quite announced yet. So you just gotta become a fan. You just gotta stalk me on the internet and hate. Or you just gotta actually show me love and be like, what's up, Kizzy? Let's link up. Your choice. But I see it all.